you guys, this is Orsi and this is my first official video of 2024, which is still kind of weird to say, but yeah, another year has gone by, quite quickly or not, whatever. But this was a deck that I ordered during Christmas break, or no, just before Christmas break, and I was starting to worry that it might get lost, but in the end it arrived, so yay! I still didn't have time to do this piece of wood, so it looks how it looks. I think the stars are gonna stay because it's impossible to remove them, to be honest. But yeah, so this is an oracle deck, and I wasn't really in the market for an oracle deck, but before I cut back on watching other people's, general readings and stuff, which I did, I watched a few where this deck was featured, and funnily enough, I picked this deck not because of the animal pictures or animal cards, but for the elemental ones, which I'm going to show you when I show you the cards, because I fell in love with the artwork. So is this a deck that I bought for pretty much for one card? Yes, absolutely. Is it gonna be good? Honestly, it's a keyword-based oracle deck, so it can be easily used. So I think, I don't see it not being useful, but we'll see. It's a Blue Angel publication, and what I love about Blue Angel, I don't have a lot, but I don't know what type of paper they use in the guidebook, but it's absolutely wonderful. And they always include one extra to protect everything in the box, and I never know what to do with that piece of paper, but I keeping them because it's a lovely paper. I have a thing for papers, if you use fountain pens, you develop a thing for paper, I think. So I want to show you the guidebook because I think it's a good guidebook. When it comes to, animal decks, these are animals that are not obviously lion. We don't have lions in Hungary. So this is another deck that's, I would say, mostly for people in the US if you want to see the animals that live around you. So I really need a deck that's Eastern European, or at least European or something like that, with animals who are living around me, because even though there are a lot of cool animals in this one, some that I know obviously from books and stuff, but not like the whale or a lion, but I haven't run into either of them. Not like I want to. Lions are beautiful and everything, but I don't want to run into any of them in the garden. But there are birds, there are other animals around here that are frequent, and I would like to have a deck with that. So if anybody has a suggestion or knows a deck that's specifically at least European, but mostly Eastern European, because Europe is freaking huge, so the climate and the fauna and everything else is just diverse, so it's different. But yeah, if you do that, please do let me know. But what I didn't know is the animals, because it kind of looked, some of the animals in the cards look kind of like, why this specifically? But this deck features, I don't know if all of them are endangered animals or, just some, but I think most of them, if not all, are very, very close to being endangered, or they are especially or critically endangered. And if you read the foreword, you can learn about that. And well, I think it's really cool that in the end of the book, there's a section where the animals are, listed, like their status, what's the threats against them, and, maybe how we can pay more attention to these. And not just that, but there's a section about choosing your cause, and there's a bunch of links to foundations that are trying to, help with the situation at hand. So I think it's really, really cool. And fortunately, PETA is not on the list, which I think yeah, because that would be kind of whatever. But when it comes to animal decks, or you know, decks that feature animals, I always think about what Robin said, I think in multiple videos, that his main problem with decks, and I'm only mentioning this because I think this is a good deck for that, that, you know, he doesn't associate keywords to certain animals because, you know, we assign these keywords as humans to the animals. It's not like the animals are, like the owl is a wise owl. Have you ever talked to an owl? Like, in a way that you can actually measure the wiseness of an owl? Of course not. But we still assign that keyword to the owl, and most of them are coming from tradition and ancient cultures. But someone at some point made an association, and we just kind of accept it because we hear them in children's stories. And then we either go with the assigned keyword or we just disregard them and go with something else. But there's always something assigned to animals. And why I like this deck, or at least, you know, at first glance, is, let me show you the shark. The first portion of the guidebook is actually giving you biological or just facts about the animal, and that explains the chosen keywords. So, you know, for example, sharks are sharks has a highly attuned sense of smell, and they can feel the vibration of other animals' movements, and you know, that's perception, and that's a good, you know, link for the keywords. And it's not coming from just looking at a shark and being like, that's perceptive. Like, no, there are biological facts that you can use if you want to, obviously, or if you have trouble connecting keywords to animals, actions, or, you know, the way they act. This can be, I think, a great tool if you look up the biological facts about the animal and find if you can match the either the given keywords in the deck, or you can just choose a keyword that for you connects with the animal, and not based on how an animal looks, but how an animal actually acts, what their habits are, their behavior, which I think is a really good way to connect with animals. And, you know, I wasn't thinking about that doing before reading this guidebook, or at least, you know, some parts of it, because I didn't have time to read through the whole thing. But, you know, there's, you know, the facts, and then some examples of ancient cultures and what shark represents, which deviates from this one. But you can use that one, those keywords or descriptions, if that connects with you more. So, you know, there's options. And then there's the message, which I'm not saying completely is attuned or in sync with those facts, but, you know, oracle decks are usually not, so. But there's enough information that makes this guidebook really good, and the deck usable. So this was one of the cards. There was two, this and the air. So, you know, why like I picked up an animal deck because of the elemental cards. Obviously, these were the two cards that I've seen in readings, and then I was like, okay, I need this deck because it's just so beautiful. And when I googled it, I was actually, because the person whose the video that I was watching of actually listed out the decks used in the video, which is always helpful. And I remember that I googled the animal name deck the last, because I was like, this is not an animal deck, so, you know, it's not the one that I'm looking for, and obviously it is. But I think the elemental cards are pretty cool. Like, this is the water, this is air with a feather, obviously, and we have fire, which I think is really cool because it's a leaf on fire. It's creation, destruction, beginning, and expression. And then we have earth with, you know, a paw print, which I think is really, really cool. I love the style of the artwork, so it really helps. And you know, it's a big deck, it's normal oracle size, so obviously I'm gonna trim off the borders, which kind of sucks because in this case the borders are colored, but this cardstock, I don't know what cardstock is this. It's not bad, but it has a tendency to get stuck, at least you know, before you start using it. So as you can see, there are color coded for the element, which I think is very useful, but I will try to keep the border at least. So I will have, I will try, depends on how closely I can trim it, because then I will still have the elemental association for the cards. And as you can see, so you know, it's not just a parrot, but when I said that some animals kind of seem random, but it's because, you know, these are endangered animals, which I think it's a really good way to, you know, create a deck and make people aware of certain things, because of course I know that there are a bunch of endangered animals, but we live our lives kind of really focused on our own problems. So okay, maybe I just do that. I'm like, you know, generalize. I don't have time to go and seek out information about endangered animals because I have other problems that, and I know it sounds selfish, it is, but, you know, this is how it is. But, you know, now I have a deck that will make me guilty in a way. Not in a bad, like, oh, I'm gonna pressure you into deal with these things, but will make me think about how to help, or maybe how to be able, if I can be able to help with anything besides donation or something like that, to at least learn about these animals more. So if this makes any sense, but not in a bad way. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like this deck is pressuring me into dealing with this issue. Look at that, so beautiful. I don't know how easily you can read this font, by the way. I think with someone who has maybe not the perfect, I don't mean it in a bad way, you know, but if someone doesn't have a perfect vision, maybe this type of font is not the best, because it can just, maybe it's hard to read, I don't know, you tell me. But I don't even know what I was saying before that. But you know, these are there are typical animals like the dolphin, and yes, dolphin light, joy, light, flow, compassion. I would say for dolphins, I would include intelligence as well, because they are freaking intelligent. But I understand why not, because, you know, the joy, light aspect of an animal is more, they are all belonging in the same group when it comes to keywords, which can be very useful, because if not, they turn into Lenormand cards. And my biggest problem with Lenormand cards is if you would get a salmon and you would get keywords like house, enemy, money, and growth, and then decide which one is good for the reading. I can't, I don't know how to. So, you know, my struggle with Lenormand is still with those keywords. But yeah, there are salmons with fate, determination, independence, and change. Dugong. We have the same fishes. And there are some potentially triggering for people who doesn't like insects. I mean, a dragonfly, yes, we always see these as beautiful, or at least not scary. Bees are important, obviously. Unfortunately, they are on the list. But golden orb spider, how to hold the cards while not touching. This looks scary, to be honest. And then, you know, these are the fire elements. And then we have, I think that the wood is really cool. You know, it's similar to the earth card. Where's the earth card? Here's the earth card. As in, it has a print. But, you know, the wood is different enough with the keywords and with the illustrations, so you don't feel like, oh, it's been, you know, it's repetitive. And then, you know, some from like frogs. Yeah, we have frogs, but obviously not 3 frogs here. Sticking sign, I don't think we have. Red squirrels, we have them, and I don't know if they are endangered here. The book says that they are endangered in the UK, so, and Ireland. So not all of them are, you know, like worldwide, because they don't even live there. Oh, and I like the Gaia card as well. It's really cool that we have one as a bonus, so to speak. And I like the forgiveness keyword because, you know, we abused our home so much, but I think in a way Earth can be so forgiving because we're still here. And I like these two as well, the lion and the gorilla. But you know, there are other cool and really interesting animals. So I think it's a great deck. I like the illustration style. I think it's, I mean, it's painted, but I have no idea with what. It could be digital, to be honest. I don't know. If I ever find it out, I will tell you, if anybody is interested. But yeah, this is just my first impression. I will trim the deck because I need to use it. But that I really appreciate having borders like these because, yes, a borderless deck is cool, but if you have big hands, you can use this deck as it is, because it will fit you. Because, you know, there are people with big hands and they should be considered as well. But if you're like me, and your hand is pretty much the size of the deck, or not a bit, not just, you know, not just a little bigger, I can't talk right now, it seems. There's an option to remove the borders and use the deck like that. So, you know, the options are appreciated. But yeah, this is my first deck of 2024 because the other one that I had before that, for, you know, like I bought it last year, but it's for 2024. It's not open yet, so this one, it was open, so this is I don't think I can shuffle it. No, I can't, because it's too big. I don't know, I'm trying to just pull a card for you guys if you're interested in seeing something out of the guidebook. And I always take these things way too seriously because I would just need to pick one and just be done with it, but I can't for some reason. Oh, and the only thing that I don't like is that the lion is at the back. Not just because personally right now lions are triggering for me. that's Murphy for me, but when one animal is in the deck and on the back, it's kind of like, why is the lion there, you know? Like, I understand for the cover you choose one, but for the back I would appreciate not having that. But it's for me to deal with, so, you know. Okay, for the red squirrel we have keywords: resourcefulness, vigilance, preparation, and busyness. I don't want to be busy, but I know I am. Okay, squirrels are collecting stuff, we know that. Oh, I didn't know that. The squirrel will gain up to 1/4 of his body weight as extra fat reserves leading up to winter, while they are, you know, collecting all the food they store later. And then we have what squirrel is in the Native American lore. They are sometimes noted for their nosy chatter, aggression. Yes, absolutely true. Squirrels are freaking aggressive and gossip. But in many stories, squirrel is embraced as a great sentinel and caretaker of the forest. Okay. Honored for his diligent food gathering, for his courage and communication, and for bringing loud warnings of danger to the tribe. Well, I don't live there. I don't know anyone who's Native American, so I don't know that. I don't know how correct these references are. I don't know if the author is in some way connected or just researched information. Okay, preparation episode, I got it. I don't want to read the whole thing because it's just, you know, a lot, and plus, if you're interested, you should buy it. But let's get you a message. The message of the square is to pause and ask yourself what really needs to be done to make the most impact and leave yourself feeling fulfilled, not scattered and fatigued at the end of the day. It's a very good message because, for me today, because I couldn't sleep during Friday night, so yesterday I was useless, which means that I have to do a lot today that was meant to space out for, the whole weekend. So I have my priority list that needs to be set up and then deal with things. But yeah, it's a good advice. I think coming up with lists and prioritizing things is a useful way to tackle when we're busy. The busyness, the amount of tasks that we have to do. And maybe it lessens the anxiety as well, because if you look at your whole, let's say just the day that you have, a lot of things you have to do. And if you look at it and you just start thinking about how many things you have to do, you just get so overwhelmed by everything you have to do that you're pretty much stopped. And okay, not everybody, but some people might delay starting things because it's just too much. But if you set up a list, then you can just be like, okay, this is the first task and I don't need to think about the rest because I'm concentrating on the first one. So I think that's a good advice. But yeah, so this is the deck. We will see how it will work in the long run. I was just thinking if I would assign a season for it, but I think because it has 4 elements, it could be any season, because 4 elements are pretty much 4 seasons as well. Or maybe just because tarot, I associate elements and seasons together or with each other. So yeah, this is it. I will try to use it more, so we will see how it works out. But yeah, do let me know if you have a deck pairing suggestion, or if you have the deck, or like I said, if you have a suggestion for Eastern European animals, that would be really, really cool. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye!